President-elect Donald Trump is celebrating his historic win and preparing for his return to the White House. I'm Bradley Blackburn in Florida, where transition meetings have already started as Vice President Harris concedes defeat.
Plus, reaction to the recall of a Carthage City Council member and the event drawing museum professionals to Southeast Kansas.
The 4 states' most watched news starts now.
A celebration of victory and a concession of defeat as the nation prepares to move forward in the wake of the election. This is KOAM News at 5. I'm Dow Quick. Former and soon-to-be president again, Donald Trump, swept every battleground state that's already been decided. It's part of a red wave of support that could put Republicans in charge of the White House and all of Congress. Bradley Blackburn has more.
This will truly be the golden age of America.
President-elect Donald Trump picked up a win in Michigan Wednesday afternoon, sweeping the so-called blue wall states that were keys to Vice President Kamala Harris's campaign.
They came from all corners: union, non-union, African American, Hispanic American, Asian American, Arab American.
Harris called Trump to concede the race and discuss the peaceful transition of power, a theme she touched on while addressing supporters in Washington this afternoon.
We will engage in a peaceful transfer of power. A fundamental principle of American democracy is that when we lose an election, we accept the results. That principle, as much as any other, distinguishes democracy from monarchy or tyranny. And anyone who seeks the public trust must honor it.
Trump campaign officials tell CBS News they will start holding transition meetings immediately here in Florida, so they're ready to take office January 20th.
America has given us an unprecedented and powerful mandate.
Trump has said beginning on day one, he will give the order to round up and expel all immigrants living in the U.S. illegally. He wants to impose a tariff of 10 to 20% on all goods not made in America. And he says he will end the wars in Ukraine and Gaza.
They said he will start a war. I'm not going to start a war. I'm going to stop wars.
After last night, he'll also have more help enacting his policies on Capitol Hill.
We have taken back control of the Senate, and it also looks like we'll be keeping control of the House of Representatives.
Control of the House remains unsettled. It's the Democrats' last chance at providing checks on Trump's policy goals as he returns to the White House. Bradley Blackburn, CBS News, West Palm Beach, Florida.
House Speaker Mike Johnson remains confident that the GOP will maintain control of the House. Democratic leader Hakeem Jeffries says it's too early to call the race and adds every vote must be counted. Carthage Councilmember Tiffany Cassie was recalled in a vote yesterday. Jasper County Clerk Charlie Davis announced that vote 730 to 450. This comes after a petition to remove her gained enough votes this past summer, which led to the question being added to yesterday's ballot. Some community members say they hope this brings some peace to the community.
That's what we need to do, is pick somebody that knows about the community and that's lived here a while and knows what's going on better than I do. But so that we can all get along, because you can accomplish a lot more.
Carthage City Council members say they're going to move forward to fill Cassie's position along with the other vacant seats in the City Council. Right now, let's check in with Chief Meteorologist Doug Heddy for a first look at the weather.
Well, it's turned out to be a great Wednesday outside for us today. We've had quite a bit of sunshine. Temperatures fantastic into lower 60s. 62 in Joplin. Pittsburgh is sitting at 60 degrees, and you can see most of us across the region sitting in between that 60 and about 65 degree range. Through the evening, we slide back through the 50s into the 40s, so it is going to be kind of chilly, but we're going to stick with the clear skies across the entire 4-state area. Here's our next storm system, which is kind of building out across most of the Rockies, and it's going to slowly head toward us. We're going to stay dry tomorrow and really dry most of Friday. Then rain will start to increase as we go through Friday night and into Saturday. So we're going to talk more about that here in just a bit.
Catching a few. Well over 100 museum professionals from all around Kansas are in Fort Scott for a 3-day gathering. The Gordon Parks Museum is hosting the 2024 Kansas Museums Association Conference, but activities are spilling over to other Fort Scott venues, including the Fort Scott National Historic Site, the Lowell Milken Center, and the Ellis Fine Arts Center. Conference attendees are touring the various attractions and attending workshops on a wide range of topics and the latest trends in museums and preservation. That includes efforts to preserve Native American history.
Information for museums on how they can better work with the indigenous communities in Kansas. I think one of the things a lot of people think about with the Native Americans that happened long ago. Those people are still here with us in our communities, and we just need to find a way to make their stories told throughout the museum community.
That conference began today and wraps up on Friday. A study examines head injuries among law officers. That story is still ahead. And the link between our stomach and stress. Those stories coming up in Health Watch. Topping today's Health Watch, the stomach plays a big role in how our bodies manage stress. A study by University College Cork found microbes in the gut are critical for the stress responding portion of the brain. Even a poor diet can impact how stress impacts us. Researchers say the findings might help lead to better stress treatments in the future. Could one more year of school improve your brain health? Well, the answer is no, according to researchers. While education does protect against brain aging, a study in the UK found no difference in brain scans between people who had 15 years of education versus people who had 16 years. However, overall, people who have more education tend to be healthier in general. When we think of people who suffer concussions, athletes probably come first to mind. But as Michael George shows us, a new study is putting the spotlight on an often overlooked population for concussion surveillance.
Franklin County Deputy Sheriff Josh Walters says in his line of work, concussions typically aren't on the radar.
When we get injured in something, we're looking for holes and blood leaking, not necessarily how dilated your pupils are, because you just smashed your head on something.
Walters co-authored a recent study that looked at concussions among law enforcement professionals. The survey of 381 personnel in Central Ohio found 74% reported a history of one or more head injuries. For nearly a third, it happened on the job. And those with injuries reported more PTSD and depressive symptoms.
So many of these injuries are going untreated. Many unreported and then untreated.
Jacqueline Cassis is an assistant professor in the School of Health and Rehabilitation Sciences at Ohio State University Wexner Medical Center.
I think one of the things that we're hoping this survey will do is increase awareness among law enforcement officers and the public more broadly regarding head injuries outside of the sporting context.
Additionally, injured officers aren't always able to get immediate treatment for concussions due to the demands of their job. Walter says the next step is working on a return-to-duty protocol, just as they have in sports and the military.
If you're going call to call and you've just received a concussion and now you're dealing with a high-stress situation, it's very hard to break all that down and make those really hard decisions fast.
Researchers hope their findings will lead to better outcomes for officers not only in their career, but also in retirement. Michael George, CBS News, New York.
The deputy sheriff also leads a peer support team to help handle the trauma unique to careers in law enforcement. And that is a look at today's health news. A little bit later, our pet vet on call.
Hi, I'm Dr. Eva Dudek from Parsons Pet Hospital. Coming up, we're going to talk about pets around space heaters.
Plus, we have more rain chances in the forecast. We're going to check that out coming up. Well, of course, it turned out to be a nice Wednesday for us today. Temperatures fantastic across the region into lower 60s, which is right where we should be for this time of the year. Great shot of our Cornell Arts and Entertainment Complex tower cam. Of course, we are looking downtown Joplin. Crystal clear blue skies. Let's go outside. Sitting at 59, Nevada 63 in Neosho, Bentonville at 64, 67 in Veneta. Chanute is checking in at 62 degrees. We haven't had clear skies since the daylight saving time ended, so it's Wednesday now, but you can really see how dark it gets. It's 5:14, and the sun is beginning to set, sitting at 62, northerly winds at about 5 to 10. Through the evening, we slide back through the 50s into the 40s, so kind of chilly for us tonight. We have a light northeasterly wind. These winds will pick up a little bit as we go into Thursday, but overall, we're looking pretty good. Clear skies. Nothing is going on here, but we are tracking our next storm system out to the west. But really the clouds, they don't even start to increase until you get to the west of Wichita. Look at all the snow through Denver, through Colorado, all the way down into New Mexico. But this is a very slow moving system, so it's going to take its time heading toward us over the next couple days. Tropics have been heating up as well. We have Hurricane Raphael, which just pushed through Cuba. Very small in stature, but a stronger hurricane. Really, right now, we're sitting at a Cat 2, clocking winds at 105 miles per hour. It's going to lift through the Gulf of Mexico. So by Friday evening, still a Category 2. And then it just kind of weakens and diminishes. So there's a good chance it may never ever make landfall across parts of the U.S., but something we'll keep our eyes on to the south. Back here at home for us tonight, temperatures dropping back into low to mid 40s, so kind of chilly as we go through the morning hours. Mid 50s by noon. By the afternoon, we top out right around 60 to 63 degrees, a little bit cooler once you get into our northern counties. As we go into tomorrow night, clouds thicken up, but we should stay dry. But you can see the rain gets to that I-35 corridor. As we continue through Friday evening, those showers will start to try to spread in. So here's 4 p.m. on Friday. Any rain that we would see would be on the Kansas and the Oklahoma side. Showers and thunderstorms, non-severe, which is good news. Periods of rain, mainly Kansas, Oklahoma, as we go through Friday night. So we're looking at Friday at 10 p.m. As we continue through the night, the rain will shift east, Missouri, Arkansas side, and then exit the region by the time we get into Saturday morning. So rainfall with this next system, it's going to be heavier on the Kansas and the Oklahoma side. Those places could pick up 1, maybe 2 inches of rain, and then quite a bit lighter, 1/10, quarter of an inch, half an inch, once you get a little bit farther toward the east. But another bout of rain will be heading toward us. 63 for us tomorrow, 64 on Friday. Those rain showers rolling in late Friday into Saturday. Sunday looks great. Monday looks pretty good. Thunderstorms back in by next Wednesday.
It's crazy. What a dry September we had. What a wet October we've already had, and we're not
we're
halfway
in November
through it.
now.
Yeah, fast forward that a month, everything. Wow. Thanks, Doug. Today's stock market action in the wake of the election, that's coming up next in Consumer Watch. Topping today's Consumer Watch, the 401ks for millions of Americans jumped today thanks to a big rally on Wall Street. The result of the presidential election sent stocks higher. But there are questions about what impact the Trump administration's policies could have on inflation and labor. CBS News Money Watch reporter Kelly O'Grady has more.
The opening bell started a surge for U.S. stocks as investors reacted to Donald Trump's White House win.
This will truly be the golden age of America. That's what we have to have.
The market heading into this was pricing in a Trump victory, and we're seeing that follow through today.
Trader Jonathan Corpina says investors believe the Trump administration's pro-business policies will boost an economy that was already heading in the right direction.
This is now going to translate into his administration to kind of pick up from where we left off and continue to keep that momentum going.
The president-elect promises low taxes and deregulation for everything from the banking industry to cryptocurrency. But he's also announced plans to implement tariffs on imported goods, and many economists say that will lead to higher prices.
There is some sense among bond investors that will lead to higher interest rates.
But CBS News business analyst Jill Schlesinger says many businesses have a wait-and-see attitude about the president-elect's policies, including his promise to deport millions of illegal workers.
I guess the question is, what will the actual policies be? How might immigration shift in the labor market?
On Thursday, the Federal Reserve is expected to once again cut interest rates. Many investors believe that those rate cuts could slow if the next administration's policies lead to higher inflation. Kelly O'Grady, CBS News, Washington.
The results of the election could have an impact on consumer spending this holiday season. According to a new survey from software company ShipStation, 35% of respondents said the election results would impact their shopping budget in some way. More younger shoppers, known as Gen Zers, said the election would impact their holiday shopping, with almost half saying they take the results into consideration, compared to just 28% of baby boomers who said the same. Savencia Cheese USA is recalling several soft ripened cheeses due to possible listeria contamination. The recalled Brie and Camembert cheeses were sold under the Aldi brand name, as well as others such as Emporium and Le Bon. Consumers are urged to throw the recalled products away or return to the place of purchase for a refund. And a pair of ruby slippers worn by Judy Garland are currently up for auction. This particular pair of the iconic shoes from the Wizard of Oz film is hitting the auction block nearly 2 decades after they were stolen from a Minnesota museum. The FBI recovered them in 2018. Bids are open until December 7th through Heritage Auctions in Dallas. So save your rubies and you might want to bid. Our Pet Vet on Call up next. Up next on the CBS Evening News, an in-depth look at Donald Trump's policy promises and what they could mean for a second Trump term. Then on KOAM News at 6, more reaction to the decision by Carthage voters to remove a council member from office. Plus, the story of 2 Southwest Missouri poll workers who drowned after getting caught in severe flooding early yesterday. And Pitt State versus Missouri Southern in women's soccer today. We have the highlights. Stay with us for the CBS Evening News and then KOAM News at 6. As the weather trends cooler, it won't be long before 4-staters are going to have to turn up the heat. And that brings us to today's question for our Pet Vet on Call. Is it safe to have pets around space heaters?
That depends on the condition of your pet and the type of space heater. If you're trying to warm up little infants or very debilitated, sick, injured, old patients that cannot move away from the heat when they get too hot, that could be dangerous. And the type of heater, your infrared heaters are pretty safe, but still want to be careful about them getting overheated. And any kind of heater that has external elements that can get hot, that can burn the pet if they touch it or roll into it, or even maybe start a fire, you want to be really careful and avoid those. So consider your pet's condition, consider your environment, and choose diligently.
You know, we invite questions from anyone. If you have a question, you just send it to petvet@koamtv.com. Dr. Eva Dudek from the Parsons Pet Hospital answers a different question or brings us a fun fact every Wednesday right here on KOAM News at 5. You can also find answers to previous questions on our website. Hey, let's check out our picks of the litter for the week. From the Joplin Humane Society, we've chosen an adult male Australian Kelpie. Yes, it is a breed. I had to check it out. He's 1 to 2 years old, comes when called. They say he loves to snuggle. The society says he mixes well with other dogs and is indifferent toward cats. His name is Homer. And speaking of cats, from the Southeast Kansas Humane Society, we've chosen this green-eyed tabby mix, a beauty, a female named Millie. The society says she's sweet and people tend to fall in love with her. If you're looking for a pet, why not check out your local Humane Society? They always have a lot of great pets to choose among. The weather looking pretty nice for at least another day or so.
Yeah, it looks pretty good. Thursday, another nice day. Very close to where we should be for this time of the year. High temp 63. Clouds increase Friday. Showers increase Friday evening, Friday night, and then through the morning hours on Saturday. Sunday looks great. Thunderstorm chances back in by the middle of next week.
Very good. Thanks for joining us. The CBS Evening News is next. And of course, we're going to be right back here for KOAM News at 6. We'll see you then. Let's make it a great evening.